Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this Sunday session on health. As usual, every Sunday we get together and we talk about health, how we can be able to keep ourselves healthy, how we can avoid lifestyle diseases, how we can live a longer, healthier life. And today we have a very interesting topic on COVID-19. It's an issue that is going on around. It's a pandemic that has targeted many people's lives and wrecked quite a number of lives. And today we are here to just look at how can we prevent ourselves from COVID-19 and how can we be able to manage it in case somebody gets infected. And we are especially privileged because we have a special guest speaker. He's a true East African citizen. He's a Kenyan, but stays in Uganda and has a big business in Tanzania and stayed in Tanzania for quite a while. He's a medical doctor. And he's going to share with us, currently staying in Uganda, he's going to share with us about COVID and what can we do for us, Kawaida people? What can we do to actually take care of our health and ensure that we live a longer, healthier life? Before I bring him on board to just start sharing, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Fred Gishuki. Fred Gishuki is an entrepreneur with Neolife International. Joined Neolife a while back. I started this business in 1996. The gentleman I'm going to introduce is relatively young in the business. Actually, I mentored him in the business, and he's a man I'm very proud of. I joined Neolife to look for money. I was not sick. I didn't have health challenges, but I had a problem with my pocket. My pocket was empty. I was broke. Despite being a professional, I was not getting the money that I was looking for in the corporate world, in the hotel industry to be precise. And a stranger offered me this opportunity. I grabbed it with both hands, started doing the business. And the first benefit I got from Neolife was health. And that's the ironical thing. I didn't get money to start with. I got health. My parents were suffering. My dad had ulcers. My mom had high blood pressure. They used the Neolife products and they felt better. We were able to manage those two conditions. And that gave me a lot of confidence to go out and talk to people about Neolife and about these products. And I can tell you, I went out building a business, built a huge business, currently going into about 12 countries. And Neolife has tremendous benefits. Apart from the products, apart from health, there's lifestyle, there's travel. I've been able to travel quite a bit to different countries, whether it's America, whether it's South Africa, Mexico, Mauritius. And I always say Neolife is a total value opportunity because you don't just make the money, but you get to travel. And then most importantly, you get to impact other people's lives positively. Nothing beats that. Because when you're able to touch somebody's life and his life is better because of your association, I always say even before God, you've actually done something major. And that gives you a lot of satisfaction at night. I know we have guests on the call, we have distributors on the call. I just want to welcome you on board, especially if you're new to Neolife. And I want to urge you to join us on this mission to make a positive difference in people's life and to make the world a healthier and happier place. And I know with our association, you'll definitely be able to transform your life. Now, without further ado, I want to introduce this young man. He's called Dr. Lawi Mwenda. He's a world team member with a huge business going into several countries. He'll be able to tell us. He came in as a young man when he was in college, started doing the business while he was in college, studying to become a doctor. By the time he graduated, he was already a world team member, driving a nice car and living large, even as a student. So he has a story that one may not believe it unless you knew him. You wouldn't believe that a student can live such a fantastic lifestyle by partnering with Neolife and getting to earn some extra income. So without further ado, Lawi, karibu.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Fred, for the invite, for the introduction, and I'm so happy to be in this panel today and share some of the great tips and solutions that we can offer uh, that can help us protect our health and the health of those people that are around us. My name is Lawi, just like I was introduced. I'm from Meru County. When I was young, one of my dreams was to become a doctor. And I thank God I got the chance to I was admitted to study medicine at Makerere University, and it was a dream come true for me. It was nice. I was excited about it. And at that time, we used to pay a figure of about 150,000 Kenya shillings every year uh, in tuition fee. I come from a family of 4, and I'm the firstborn. So when you're the firstborn, there's a lot of responsibility that lies on your shoulders. So that's how I went along life. My dad was working as an engineer in one of the companies, and life was smooth. But along the way, when I was in my first year and second semester, my dad lost his job, and a lot of things changed at home. And for most of the people who have gone through such an experience in life, you realize it's not very easy because life moves from up to down. Life changes so much. The things that used to look normal no longer become normal. And I started noticing a few changes at home. I could notice that you'd call home to ask for money, and it would take longer. It would start taking longer to get my tuition fee paid, something that never used to happen before. So nobody told me, but I could see what was happening at home. A lot of financial situation at home was changing. And remember, I was studying for 5 years, supposed to study for 5 years. And now here I was approaching second year, but I could clearly see that there's a financial difficulty at home. And the hope of completing the remaining 4 years at the university started becoming diminished. That's when a friend of mine invited me to come and take a look at the Neolife business. And to be honest, just like Fred, I wasn't interested about the products. Actually, I was quite scared, and I didn't understand anything about the Neolife products, especially the health ones. But I said, I don't have much of a choice. I needed the business. I needed to make sure that my tuition fee is paid. So I decided to start the business, and to cut the long story short, it's something that helped me to pay my tuition fee in third year, fourth year, and fifth year. And Neolife has really transformed my life because it has helped me to do so many things that I would have I dreamt of. I and traveled to so many countries. But today is not so much about me as it is about you and the people around you. So uh, with me, we are that we can do as for to prevent the adverse effects of COVID, and we can follow up from what is on the slides there. Uh, I don't think I need to even add so much on what uh, on COVID, because a lot of us already know about it. We have heard a lot about COVID. We have either had a friend or a close family member who has in one way or another been affected or infected, and uh, it's not a nice experience, and it always hurts when we lose someone who is close. One thing I would like to just say is many people right now in the world, COVID is a new disease. I think less than 18 months old, but nobody knows all about it. We keep learning new things about it, but we can't know everything at this moment. But the best we can do is use the little information that we do have to protect ourselves, because your life is your number one priority. They say health is one of the most important things that we have, and we should not play around with them. So today we are going to go through this COVID scourge. What can we do? And what can we change about it? And if you look at our slides there are so many challenges that are in our environment, not only COVID. If you look around, there's so many pathogens that are lying around our environment. Very many bacterial infections, fungal infections. There are so many things in our society or in our environment that can change or can affect our immunity. One of them is just by our normal usage of antibiotics and medication to treat most of the infections we come across every day. In one way or another, such treatments, they reduce our immunity. If you look at the kind of pathogens and toxins we meet around in our environment, they also depress our immunity. And it's for this reason that we need to start watching. One thing I can be happy about, okay, they say we can't be happy about a disease, but one thing we should be grateful for is people have become more aware about the importance of the immunity. I remember the last 12 months, people have become like herbalists. Everyone in their home, they have all sorts of concoctions on what to beat COVID with. But generally, I am so happy because many people have learned the importance of COVID, of immunity. If we had this conversation 2 years back, nobody would be so much interested about whether the immunity is strong or not. But today, everyone is very concerned about the immunity. Today, things have changed. People are willing to buy vitamin C and use it for their own personal health. Yeah, something that 2 years ago you would not find someone putting a budget of vitamin C, yeah, in their monthly budget. But nowadays, people have become more conscious, which is a good thing. And that consciousness of improving our health does not just protect us against COVID, it also protects us against getting other diseases, especially chronic diseases, because most of them arise from our poor diet and bad lifestyle choices. If you look at our slides there, they talk about we are suffering. We are getting so many challenges from pollution. We have nutritional deficiencies. None of us is eating the right 100% rightly. We also have challenges with our genes, because most of us, you find our parents or someone along our genetic lines might be having a disease or two. So we really need to improve and work on our immunity in general. Okay, so and today in this meeting, we are just going to look at what can we do to change. There are small things that might look simple, but they help us improve our immunity in a great way. Well, the reason why we want to talk mostly about immunity is because we have seen from the past cases of COVID, many people who have low immunity or they have underlying conditions, have a, a much more difficult prognosis. They end up with more severe illnesses. So some of the things that in the last 1 year people have realized is that there are some nutrients or ways or treatments or options that we can use to help us improve our health. When someone is COVID positive, after recovering, and even before, you also want to prevent the infection of the disease. So what can we do? Some of the findings that people have, doctors and people around the world have realized is that there are particular nutrients that our body needs, but because of our poor diet, you find we have little amounts of these nutrients in our body. There are things like simple vitamins like vitamin C. Vitamin C has if you go to all the COVID treating centers, that's one of the things that one is supposed to be taking. And in a day, you're supposed to have about 1,000 milligrams or more, of vitamin C. There are other vitamins like vitamin D. Vitamin D has also been proven to help in the absorption of nutrients and improve. It's also helpful in improving the immunity of the body. And to be specific, vitamin D3 has shown to help us improve. Naturally, we get this D3 from the sunlight. But most of us, because of our work schedule, you realize we rarely get time to even move out of the house and of our premises to get that morning sunlight, that helps us to activate our vitamin D3. There are so many other nutrients that our body would need, There are things like you've heard about the inflammatory effect of COVID. And in Neolife, we do have a natural anti-inflammatory, and it's called omega-3. It's made from fish oil, and it's one of the basic nutrients that would help improve on your it will help someone to get better once they have COVID, because it's an anti-inflammatory that helps to counter the effects of COVID. So today we are going to look at also certain foods. There are certain foods that help us improve the prognosis, because to get these nutrients that we are talking about, most of them come from foods. And the most important foods that improve our immunity in general are the fruits and vegetables, we are all advised to take between 5 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables in a day. But you realize most of us don't even have a fruit, leave alone five servings. Even one fruit is very difficult for an average person. So you realize we are still exposed, because our dietary habits are still wanting. We are not doing our best. We are not even doing half our best. Yeah. So if we move to the other slides, you'll be able to see. What we can do to increase. The first thing we talked about was us improving on our diet in terms of fruits. And we are normally advised, whenever you go to places, whenever you go to your market, make sure you get as much food that have quality, not quantity, because that's we are so accustomed to eating foods that make us full. We just look at the quantity instead of the quality. And that's where Neolife comes in. Neolife has been working tirelessly for the last since 1958. It has men and women in science who have been working tirelessly to do research and to see how to improve people's health. Our slogan has always been to make the world a healthier and a happier place. And to do that, what you can see there on the screen, that's the scientific advisory board that helps us to do the research and make sure that we are ahead of science. We have the best products or items that science can offer, and products that are based in nature, products that do not harm or cause any bodily harm to the people who use them. And we in Neolife, we have people who are working so hard to make sure that we give people products that do what they say they do. Okay, so if we move to the next slide, I want to show you like about the healthy choices. How can we make healthy choices? In health normally has three aspects. One, there's the diet part of health. Number two, you also need to get enough exercises. We all need exercise, about 1 hour to 2 hours a day. You need to be active. Sometimes being active is very helpful in your health. And then the third thing, you also need to get enough rest. But a lot of us don't get those things. If we can only start with the diet, I want to show you a pyramid there that that defines the quality and quantity of food we should be having on our plate. The first one is you can see from the bottom of that pyramid. It talks about us being active. We are advised to be more active, because when you are more active, this prevents you from getting infections. Your body is able to fight a lot of things. Then number two, you can see there on the second on the pyramid, there are whole grains. Whole grains are foods that are not sifted. Things like brown bread, brown wheat flour, brown maize flour. We need them. We need half a kilo in a day, but sometimes we don't get that much. We also need fruits and vegetables. Like I told you, we need 5 to 13 servings in a day. We need some little protein, but the amount of protein we need is not that much. The experts say we need about 80 grams of protein in a day. 80 grams is not much. It's very little. That means a quarter kilo of meat shared amongst 3 people. Then and at the top of the pyramid, that's where that's the least things you need in your food, on your plate of food, and that's the fats and sugars. But that's the ideal way. That's what doctors advise us to eat. But let's look at how we eat. The reality is opposite. You'll see from that picture that most of us, if you come to our homes and visit, you'll find the biggest hot pot will all contain starch, fats, and sugars. And then the second one will be full of proteins: the chicken, the beef, the eggs. Then fruits and vegetables will come in very small quantities, and so are the whole grains. So we are always eating what we are not supposed to eat. We are going against nature, and this might not have an effect in one day, but if you do it repeatedly for a year, 2 years, 3 years, then there's an effect in your health. So if you can move to the next slide, you'll realize that there's a gap that needs to be filled. And that gap is our responsibility. We cannot leave it up to someone else to do it for us. There's nobody out there who is going to look out for your health. These are things you should choose. You should take care of on your own personal, on a personal basis. You should take care of it seriously. So we need to fill in that gap, because you can clearly see we are eating the opposite of what we're supposed to. And in so doing, a lot of minerals and vitamins and nutrients go missing. An average, I know most people here are Kenyans, an average Kenyan meal, it will have a lot of starch, a lot of protein, and very little nutrient. So we tend to eat a lot of quantity, and then we don't get the quality from our food. So Neolife came up with a solution, and they came up with things we call nutritionals. These are supplements that come from food. And one of them is this. I normally call this the foundation of health, because it has everything that you need to be healthy. It has the foundational items or nutrients that you need in your body every day. One of them is something we call the TNN. TNN is a nutrient made from fruits, from whole grains, wheat, rice, and soya. They actually take the outer cover from those particular seeds, grains, and squeeze it. They give you that green capsule you see there on the screen. And this is very helpful because it helps to open up your cells. I remember this was one of the first products that I got to use when I got started. It also has things like carotenoid complex, which helps to improve our immunity. So if you look at the benefits of ProVitality, it has so many benefits. I'm going to go through one by one. I'm going to start with the TNN so that you can see what the individual products in the ProVitality, what they actually do. And you can see some of the key benefits of ProVitality. It has very good antioxidant protection. It's good for your heart. It improves your immunity. It's good for your eyesight. I normally meet so many people who struggle with challenges with their hair and all that. It helps with that. So I'm going to elaborate a little bit more about the TNN. And if we can move to the next slide there, you'll be able to see what exactly TNN does. Okay, so I told you before, TNN comes from the whole grains, wheat, rice, and soya. Those are the foods that we rarely eat. There was a time I was in a place called Iringa, and I met this dog owner, and he had he told me whenever he goes to his farm, after getting the harvest, he'll mill the maize. Now there are categories of milling. There's that very finely grained meal, the maize that has the flour that is white. They call it grade 1, and that's what he feeds to the family. Then he gets this what they call grade 3, the one that has all the whole grains, and feeds it to his dogs. Now the interesting thing is that his family takes grade 1 portion or ugali, and you find that they're always sick. They have all sorts of health problems. But his dogs, which take grade 3 ugali, are the ones that look healthy. Actually, one of his dogs was 50 kilos. So if you look at that image there, it shows you the effect or what TNN actually does to your cells. Now, our body is made up of small cells, and these cells are supposed to look like, you can see that cell on the right. That's how an ordinary cell is supposed to look like. And it's supposed to be soft and permeable so that when nutrients come in, they enter very easily and the waste products can get out easily. But what normally happens is that when we don't get enough whole grains, our cells become very hard and impermeable. Nutrients try to enter, but they can't. And waste products also try to leave the cell, but they can't. So with time, you find our energy levels keep dropping, and we get more fatigued if we have a cell of that type. I remember when I just started the business, this was one of the first products that I got to use. And in those days, I used to study for very long hours, you know, and I would get back home when I'm so fatigued, so tired. Sometimes I remember I would just go home, sleep, and forget to lock the doors because of fatigue. But when I started using the TreeNN, I realized my energy levels became more raised. I could do more things. I could work. I could study for long hours. I could wake up in the morning when I'm fresh and not, struggling. So TreeNN is one of the important products that we all need. The second, and you don't need to be sick to use it. Anyone can use it. Actually, it's something I would recommend to everyone. The second one that is in Provitality is what we call carotenoid complex. Now you realize with the coming of the age of COVID, immunity has become a very important topic, and we can't talk about immunity without talking about carotenoid complex. Carotenoid complex is one of the Neolife products that helps to improve the immunity by 37% in just 20 days. And there are very few products you'll find in the market that can be able to do that. And this is very powerful because, and improving immunity in such a short time is very important. Yeah. So it's a supplement that we all need, and you don't have to wait to get COVID to use it. You can use it to improve your immunity so that your body can be able to fend off infections and diseases. Another very important product that we have inside the Provitality is something we call the omega-3. And I mentioned this a little bit earlier because omega-3 helps to improve. It's an anti-inflammatory. You've heard about how COVID causes what they call a cytokine. As the cytokines in the body increase, and it causes the inflammation of the cells in the body. So omega-3 is a natural anti-inflammatory. So it's something you would want to use, especially if you get COVID or you are recovering from COVID. Because remember, COVID causes a damage to the lungs, even after recovery of the disease. So omega-3 is something you need during the infection and even after. So if you have a friend who has maybe unfortunately gotten the disease, encourage them to use this supplement because they're going to give them a chance to fight the disease. Another item that I'm going to talk about, this one is not in Provitality, but it's very important in immunity, is something we call the PhytoDefense. Now, PhytoDefense is our ultimate immune boosting product, and PhytoDefense has sachets inside, and each sachet has 3 capsules of carotenoid, 2 flavonoid, and 1 cruciferous. And you can use 1 packet a day, but you can also, if you find your immunity is a little bit wanting, you can always take 2 or 3. It's very helpful. I saw my grandfather use this when he had prostate cancer, and it really helped him a lot. He's not the only person who has been helped by this, but many others. I'm also going to share about another important supplement that you might also consider in your anti-COVID regimen, and this is called the garlic allium. Garlic allium has what we call allicin. And allicin is an important nutrient that comes from the garlic and other onions, you know. And allicin also has, it's a natural antimicrobial. So I normally meet so many people when they suspect that they have COVID, they start taking antibiotics, self-prescribing. So it's very dangerous to prescribe something for yourself without a doctor's prescription. But garlic gives you a natural antibiotic, something that you can use to kill off germs, but that does not harm or does not have a negative or adverse effect on your body. Another product that you would also want to consider in your COVID regimen is vitamin C. No, now for vitamin C, I don't think I would want to put in a lot of information, but I'm sure most of you already know its importance. I think right now every pharmacy has vitamin C, every hospital has vitamin C. It's ever since COVID came, we have all learned the importance of vitamin C. The good thing in our Neolife vitamin C, each tablet has what we call the sustained release formula. That means you don't lose anything. Your body has a limit of how much vitamin C it can absorb in a particular number of hours. So when you just take vitamin C that has no sustained release formula, you tend to lose some of the vitamin C. But the sustained release formula for Neolife helps you to make maximum use of the tablets. Okay, then there's CalMag. CalMag is actually very important. Also, it has vitamin D3. I told you D3 is very important in prevention of viral acute infections. And it also has magnesium. Magnesium is important in the absorption of vitamin D3. It helps in the absorption of vitamin D3. And then it also has calcium. And calcium is important also in strengthening the muscles, especially the muscles in the lungs and in our blood vessels. It will help you for you realize many people with COVID, they get their blood pressure going up, their blood sugar levels going up. So calcium is important in stabilizing your blood pressure levels, your blood sugar levels. It strengthens your blood vessels. It's also important. Calcium also helps you to open your arteries so that you don't have blockages. When in the case that you need to get something out of your lungs, then you should have a strong enough muscles to push the mucus out of your lungs, and that's where calcium comes in. We also have zinc. Zinc is also important it's also a very good antiviral mineral in the body, and it's very good for the development and repair of the cells. The COVID leaves that cytokine storm leaves a lot of damage, inflammation to repair the cellular damage in the body. So it's something one would want to take to prevent the disease. Or if you're sick, you should also do it. And even after recovery, even if you test negative, you also need to take zinc to repair the damage of COVID. COVID leaves a lot of damage on our lung cells and also our blood vessels. So you want to take zinc even after recovery so that you can have your body back to where it used to be. There is that herbal respiratory complex formula. Now, herbal respiratory formula helps to open up your airways. And it goes without saying that when COVID being a respiratory illness, you want to have your airways operating function optimally. You've heard people talk about the oxygen levels in the blood. You want to increase those levels. You want to make sure that your lungs are not. You don't need a ventilator. Yeah. So the herbal respiratory is important. And on the left, on the right there, you can see the need for weight loss. Now, a lot of studies are showing that people with who are obese or people with a high body mass index tend to get more complications of COVID than people with a low body mass index. So it's very important that we try to cut down our weight. And not only cutting down our weight, but we also need to identify there are those diseases that we call the chronic illnesses, things like diabetes, high blood pressure, stroke, kidney problems, low immunity problems. So if you have a friend or a family member or a loved one who has those chronic diseases, it's important that you start encouraging them to take control and to be able to reverse some of those conditions, because those are the diseases that make COVID worse than it's actually supposed to. So if you have someone who is interested in maybe preventing or treating or managing COVID, these are some. We came up with a list of supplements and the dosages that you might think of giving them, because they are going to help the person recover much faster. And that's herbal respiratory. That should be 1 times 2 zinc, 1 times 3 CalMag. There is vitamin C. If you're using the all C, then you should do 1 times 4. But if you're doing the vitamin C, the sustained release, you should do 1 times 2. Then there's omega-3 and many others. Okay, so those are just like the foundational products that you can give. The beauty with Neolife is Neolife helps you with your general family. So all the way from the elderly people around you to the young people around you, we have solutions for them. Now, for people who are below 12 years, 10 years, they might not be able to take the solution we talked about in the previous slide, but this is what they give them instead. For kids, you can protect your family with the products you see there, the salmon oil liquivite, Vitagard, and all that. And there are things like nutrition, okay, which is also important. Okay, so we can beat COVID. We can do our best. We might not know everything about the disease, but we can do something. We cannot just fold our hands and wait for the disease, but you can prepare your body to fight against COVID. And that's the best way to do that is reversing chronic illnesses, treating any underlying illnesses, improving your immunity, and also praying to God that we don't get the complicated version of the disease. So Neolife not only we're not just going to talk about COVID, but Neolife also has so many other solutions that can suit people in your family. Bone and joint problems, people who have challenges with losing weight, people who have challenges with their blood sugar levels, people with hormonal imbalance problems. The list is long. And what we are saying is there's something you can do about it. We have a solution. In your life, you can help someone with any of those conditions to regain their health. So don't just keep quiet about these solutions. Share them out with the people out there, because you might make a positive difference. You might touch the life of someone, and that's the best thing that I think you can ever do. Do something for someone who can never repay back. So you can, just by using the Neolife products and also sharing, you can build a business out of this and make some additional income for yourself. Because when you use the products, you'll get what we call a story. You'll have an experience. And it's important that you share that experience with the people around you. Tell the people around you what you have felt, what you have seen. And by doing that, you're going to meet three kinds of people. There are people who we call business builders. Business builders are those people who, when they listen to your story, they also want to be like you. They want to build a business just like you. But there's also another group, and that is the majority. 80% of the people you'll share your story with will become consumers. That means they'll only be using your products. And when they use, they be buying from you, and you can make profits with that. Then there's also another category of people that you'll meet who, for them, they're only interested in selling, So as you keep on sharing this knowledge, you're going to interact and meet very many people different people who are either going to be business builders, consumers, or sellers. And in that way, you can build a team, you can become a director, and you can start making some very good amounts of money. One of the goals we encourage people to look out for is what we call director. And as a director, you get to earn $10,000 in a year. And that's a very cool amount of money that I'm sure anyone would be excited to receive. So I think we have come to the end of our presentation. I hope you have picked a thing or two, and let's use the products. The best way of learning, if you haven't understood much from what I said, if something was clear, don't worry, just use the product. The facts don't matter so much. What matters is how you feel when you use the products. And that's the best thing. We want to see you in 2022. We want to see you when you're alive, healthy, and kicking. Thank you very much. Back to you, Fred.
Yes, Dr. That was a fantastic session. I like the way you've done it in a very cool fashion, discussing very serious matters. I think that comes with being a doctor. And before we go, maybe Dr. you can, there are people who say, okay, fine, why don't I just go and buy anything from over the counter in terms of a supplement, and if it is vitamin C or if it is zinc and that kind of thing, I can just pop one and buy. Maybe just mention one or the benefit of, is there any difference with Neolife that can be able to compared to what is there in the market? Because I know you have an experience with the conventional as well as the Neolife products.
Okay, so about the Neolife difference, that's a question that many people ask, because someone will tell you, I have my vitamin C, I have my vitamin D, I have zinc at home, I bought some from the pharmacy. Now, what's the difference? The first difference is in something we call the absorbency rate, the absorption rate. The absorption rate of any say nutrient or supplement is what percentage of that nutrient gets absorbed in your blood. Yes, you might take a vitamin C, but what percentage will be absorbed? So some of the vitamin C you'll find in our hospitals and pharmacies has a very low absorbency rate. So some is as low as 15%. The cheaper it comes, the lower the absorption rate. If you look at the Neolife vitamin C, not only vitamin C but other products, they're enhanced so that to get a higher absorption rate. I think the absorption rate for zinc is 85%. That means for every tablet you swallow, your body makes use of 85%. Unlike the one that you'll buy in the pharmacy, which might be like 20%. So they always say cheap is what? Cheap is always cheap.
Expensive at the end of the day.
Yeah, cheap is always cheap. Then another difference is in getting something organic or natural. We live in an age where we have too many inorganic things we swallow through food, our environment. If you looked at the first slide, it talked about environmental factors. Now, we are ingesting a lot of inorganic nutrients. But the difference, if you look at our zinc, our nutrients, our calcium, our magnesium, they're extracted from organic, natural sources. So if you're someone who does not want to swallow tablets that will cause you problems in future, then you might want to not just use any vitamin C or any zinc or any calcium. You would want to use the Neolife products because they're organic and they have no damaging effect on your body later on. So I think those are the two differences that I can quickly come up with right now.
Fantastic. And you know, we can't see you. I think your camera went off at some point. But Daktari, I know you've been with Neolife for some time. Maybe what are some of the other benefits you've gotten from Neolife?
Okay, so about the other benefits, since we were talking about health, probably I stuck on the health side. But for those people who are distributors in the call, or maybe who are listening for the first time, I want to encourage you to also try to experience Neolife. Try to experience. That's how I also started. I started because I had a financial need, and the Neolife opportunity helped me to pay my tuition fee for 3 years at the university. And if it wasn't for that, I don't think I would have been able to complete my studies. One of the things that I used to hear about when I joined Neolife, or when I attended some of the meetings, were things like traveling. And when they talked about traveling, I always thought to myself, maybe that's something for other people, because for some of us, we have never left, we have never traveled much, we have never even had a reason to travel. We come from families where people traveling is such a big deal, you know. So I always thought of it as an impossibility. I thought it's something that didn't concern me. But after I became a director, I started getting opportunities to travel courtesy of Neolife. I remember when I remember my first trip was to go to Johannesburg in South Africa, and the company took us to the what called Santon Sun. It was a very nice place, nice hotel, 5-star. When we went there, we were told that's where Michael Jackson slept. You know, when someone tells you that, you get so excited. The bed gets even much more comfortable than before. So it was my first time. It was my first time to board a plane. It was actually my first time to get a passport. I remember that time I got myself a 32-page passport, and you can't believe it. It got filled up this year. Yeah, I think this year. So it's very exciting because every other year after that, you've gotten a chance to travel, experience different cultures, visit different places. The things you see on TV, you want to see them live. And that's one of the things that really excited me. After I went for that first trip, I realized that I also love traveling. I also realized that even the things that appear impossible are also possible. And they're also possible for common people like me, So I just want to encourage everyone in this call that I'm sure there are things that in your mind you think they're impossible. But me, I am a testament. I'm a testimony that the impossible is possible. The things that you think are not, you can't achieve, believe you me, you can. Yeah. And when they happen, that's when you realize that they are also done by normal human beings like you and I. So there are so many things I cannot even finish, but it's very exciting to be with Neolife. One of the things that I love, I have two main things I want to do. One, I've always wanted to have the freedom of time. The freedom it is, what time of the day it is. You can plan your own program. You can go where you want to go. You can travel you can be in any city you want to be. I want that kind of freedom. And the second kind of freedom I'm looking for is the freedom of money, whereby you can spend without feeling the pain, So those are the things that have always kept me excited, and also to touch the lives of many people. I believe I know there are some young people in this call, and if you are young, you're in your 20s, your 30s, or your 40s, believe you me, the world is out there and it's waiting for you to make things happen. And Neolife just gives you an opportunity to do that, to touch people's lives. One of my dreams was I wanted to have a business in 15 countries in Africa. Now I haven't reached there, but at least I'm on my way. Yeah, so it's very exciting, and we are not just stopping. Yeah, we are putting our foot on the accelerator. So I also want to encourage everyone, do the same. You can do much more. People are out there waiting for you to touch their lives.
Fantastic, Dr. One thing that I really, truly respect you for is building a business to the world team level from a background of a student. There's always this conception or misconception that to do business, you need to have money, you need to be wealthy, you need to know the right people and all these kinds of things. But when I see a student like you being a world team member, then I realize with Neolife, you don't really need money. All you need is to go out there, do it, talk to as many people as possible, and you'll actually make it. So you're actually a true inspiration for all of us.
Thank you.
So guys, there you have it. We've come to the end of our session. That was an amazing, amazing session by Dr. Lawi Mwenda. Thank you so much, Daktari. We've learned a lot. I know this recording will be available to you later today. If you are here, and the person who invited you will be able to get it to you. But this was an awesome session. Let's put into practice what we have learned. Let us start using the products. And for me, I always say it's better you use the products when you're in Neolife than to buy from somebody. But if you choose to buy from the person who invited you, that is okay as well. At least you'll be taking care of your health. But more importantly, don't keep this information to yourself. Share it with somebody else out there. Join us in this mission to change people's lives by just sharing what we know. The Bible says we perish for lack of knowledge. So don't let your neighbor perish, yet you have this information. So whatever you do with the information, share it with somebody, let that person get some help. I've seen a lot of people passing on. You hear somebody is passing on because of oxygen levels. And we have products that will boost your oxygen levels, vitamin E and the like. It's because of time we couldn't cover all of them, but we have products that can actually be able to do that for you. So don't suffer in silence. And again, don't allow your neighbor or your friend. Let us join hands together to fight this pandemic so that as many as possible can be saved. It is so sad when you hear your neighbor is gone, your uncle, your cousin, all over people are dropping, and we have this information and we are keeping it to ourselves. So let's go out, let us share. I wish you a fantastic afternoon, and God bless you all. Thank you and goodbye. Thank you, Lawi.
Thank you very much for inviting me. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you.
Yeah, and a great month ahead.
Same to you.